Okay. So again, we're going over energy and emotional clearing. And the first thing that I want to bring awareness to is your aura. Okay. And you have a little image here if that helps. So the first thing with your aura, it's good to just kind of tune in and try and figure out where your aura is. Okay? So your aura has different layers to it, but what I want you to pay attention to is where your energy is. Where is your aura? And it's helpful to imagine that it is encompassing you completely, just like the image here. That's a supportive image. So it's kind of surrounding you completely like an egg. And if your aura is really out big and wide, some people like to have their energy kind of encompassing the world, encompassing their town. And why I want you to bring awareness to that, because if your aura is expanded out really far and you're intuitive, sensitive, empathic, it's going to leave you feeling very, very overwhelmed. Because with a very expanded, open aura, you're picking up on a lot of different people's energy, and it could leave you feeling kind of tired, fatigued, overwhelmed. So there is that importance for us that are intuitive, empathic, to bring our aura in. And if you're wondering, well, how do I do that? I can't even sense my aura. It's just bringing that intention, that strong intention to bring your aura 2 feet out. I love using my hands, my arms, putting them all the way out, because that is about 2 feet out, and it gives you that very kind of clear direction on where your aura should be. So I want you just to kind of take your hands, right? And in that oval shape all around you, kind of putting your hands, that's where the edge of your aura needs to be. So you could even be setting that intention, calling your aura back, or allowing for it to expand out further if you notice that it's very close to your body. So this is just a standard, healthy distance for your aura. So if you're noticing you're fatigued or overwhelmed, too many people's energy in your space, I would say that's that first step, is checking in with yourself. Well, where's my aura? Is it expanded and kind of tuning in with everyone that's in this room right now? Then I welcome you just to call it back to that healthy distance. Okay, so I just want you to practice this, okay? So you're tuning in with your aura, kind of seeing if it's really out there and expanded, or it might even be closer to your body, seeing if you can tune in with that. And then you'll put your arms out, because we want that healthy distance, about 2 feet out all around you, encompassing you completely. You might be calling your aura in, or you might be bringing it out a little bit for this healthy distance all around you. And just notice how that feels. So I just recommend, as you know, we're going into the holidays and there could be social gatherings, with people, even online. I want you to get into that practice of awareness of where your aura is at. So you may even notice when you walk into a room that you might encompass your whole energy into that room. And then you're wondering why you're so overwhelmed with, all the energies and the people in the room. And I welcome you just to call your aura back to that 2 feet of distance all around you. Okay, starting to have that awareness and checking in with yourself when you are, just at home or going into different environments. Okay. Okay. And then next, we're just going to do the Archangel Michael protection prayer together. I love this prayer. I use it every single day. Some of you are already familiar with this. And with the Archangel Michael protection prayer, before even stating the prayer, it's good to just tune in with your own intentions. Okay? So for me personally, my intention with the prayer is to hold my center regardless of what happens, what comes into my energy field, or what is presented to me in life, to hold my center. Okay? So for me, that's that intention that I use, and I'm protecting myself from getting thrown off or losing my center with whatever happens in life. Okay, regardless of what happens, I'm holding my center. And you might even kind of, take this time to check in. It's like, well, what are your intentions for setting protection for yourself, for using a protection prayer? Because intentions are so important. So what are you needing protection from? Have you been feeling really overwhelmed with other people's energies coming into your space? You can set an intention, right, to not feel overwhelmed with other people's energy, for their energy not to enter in your space. So taking that time to set that intention for yourself. And I welcome you just to bring awareness to your chest, your spiritual heart center. You may even feel called to gently place your hands at your heart center. And it's as if you're holding that intention here in your heart. So for me, my intention is to hold my center regardless of what is presented to me in life, to protect myself from losing my center. So now I want you to visualize a golden protection aura. So you've already had that practice of tuning in with your aura a little bit, creating that safe and healthy distance around you. And I just want you to imagine a golden protection aura. And for me personally, the reason why I use the color gold is that gold will still allow for loving energy to come through, but any energy that doesn't match that frequency of love is kept out of your space. So for me personally, that's why I love to use the color gold. Some people like to use white, which will block out everything from your space, including that loving energy. So some people do have a preference for that, just blocking everything out. Or you may even notice your own intuition and guidance is requesting of you to use a different color. If that is happening for you, I welcome you to honor your intuition and guidance. Okay. Okay. So in this example, we're visualizing that golden protection aura all around us, encompassing us completely. So it's like you're sitting in this golden egg. And I just welcome you to repeat the Archangel Michael protection prayer. Archangel Michael of divine source, of unconditional love, please assist me in putting a thick 24-karat golden protection aura around me. May this thick 24-karat golden protection aura protect me from any intentional and unintentional harmful energy. May this harmful energy be sent to Mother Earth, transformed to golden healing energy, and be returned to its rightful owners. I am protected now. I am protected now. And I welcome you to just allow yourself to relax and soften into the safe and protected space you've created for yourself. Allowing for your neck and shoulders to relax and soften. And you could even imagine the presence of Archangel Michael, or if there's any other intuitive guides that you work with, you can welcome their presence in and set that intention to receive their support, to receive their protective support. So I love using this prayer every night before I go to bed. I'll use this prayer just to support me with having uninterrupted sleep time, especially, if you're clairvoyant and you have, spirits coming to visit you at the wee hours of night. This is a nice protection prayer to do, just to support yourself with having good sleep. This is also great to do if you notice that you have sensitivities going to the grocery store, running errands where there's going to be other people. This is a great protection prayer, right? Maybe you're in your car before you go into the grocery store or something. You can use this prayer, okay? Okay. And next, I want to talk about just coming back to yourself. Do you ever have those moments where you're not feeling like yourself? You might be feeling overwhelmed and icky. If you have that icky feeling, sometimes it could just be that other people's energies are in your space. It doesn't necessarily mean that they have icky and bad energy. It's just sometimes when we have other people's energy in our space, it can just feel icky to us. Okay. But I just want to make that distinction that even though we feel icky, it doesn't mean that it's bad energy in our space. It could just mean that somebody else's energy is present there. And at times with this, especially when, right, you're sensitive, intuitive, empathic, and you have other people's energy in your space, you can feel you don't feel like yourself. You can feel like you've lost touch with your truth, your true essence, maybe your light. So what I want to teach you is just a quick tool for clearing out other people's energy. Okay. And this is one you could do. We're going to practice this together, but this is one you can do. Say if you're with family at the Thanksgiving table and everyone's around you, you can do this while you're interacting with other people. Okay. But let's practice it. So I hope all of you are just sitting comfortably in a chair. It's great if your feet are on the ground. If you happen to be on the bed, laying down, I just welcome you to bring your feet up so they're just touching the ground or whatever surface is there. And you can either close your eyes or kind of just bring your awareness inward for this. So I just want you to wiggle your toes a little bit, bringing your awareness to your feet, just helping yourself to be a little bit more grounded and in your physical body. Maybe even just saying hello to yourself if you haven't checked in with yourself yet today. Now I want you to bring your awareness down to your hips, and you could just gently shift your hips back and forth a little bit, really bringing awareness to your hips. Now I want you to imagine a grounding cord, and this can look like the trunk of a tree, going from the width of your hips all the way down to the center of the earth, and you're grounding and rooting into the center of the earth in the present moment. And it's always nice to acknowledge Mother Earth and set that intention to fully receive her support. So here you are, grounded and rooted into Mother Earth. And I want you now to go ahead and make your grounding cord hollow inside. Now setting that intention to release and let go of anyone else's energy that's not yours, that you're holding in your space, to release and let that go down your grounding cord. Using the natural law of gravity, so it's so easy just to release and let go of anything that's not yours down your grounding cord. If you notice that there's any resistance, acknowledge the resistance and let that resistance go down your grounding cord. So just taking this moment to release and let go of anything that's not yours, down your grounding cord. Feeling lighter, feeling good. And you're just starting to notice how it feels to be a little bit more in your own energy, your own space. It's really important to get really familiar with what it feels like to be you, to be in your own energy. And the reason for this is that the more clear it is to you of what your own connection feels like, your own energy feels like, the easier it is in present time to catch, to have awareness of somebody else's energy in your space. This is so important for those who are empathic, where you feel and sense the emotions of others. So you can imagine if you catch that in present time, oh, that's somebody else's energy, that's somebody else's emotion. It has a different feel than my own energy. You can right away just go ahead and use your grounding cord, that hollow grounding cord, and release it down your grounding cord. And I love using the support of Mother Earth, because think of Mother Earth as this great composter, okay? Just breaking things down into nourishing and usable energy, okay? So using that healing support of Mother Earth. And I have another technique here for cleansing your energy field. So say if you've been doing the grounding cord and you're feeling like it's just not strong enough. So a lot of people are familiar with using sage to kind of cleanse their home. And one day I was out in my garden and I have, this beautiful sage plant, and I got this vision and my guidance was coming in and was telling me to use the sage. Just this is like culinary sage as a tea, because it would support with going deeper within to clear out my energy field. And so, right, this is very easy. You might even have the culinary sage that we use for cooking. You might even have that in your garden. You could buy it at the grocery store, natural health food store. And you can do this with the fresh sage leaves or dried. So just if you're using dried sage leaves, that's going to be a little bit more potent and strong. So you would just use a little bit less than fresh sage leaves. And what you're going to do is just prepare a tea. Okay, so you can get 2 to 3 of the sage leaves. Put them. I love using glass mason jars. And get a glass mason jar, and you fill about 2 cups with hot water. You're going to want to let that sit so those kind of medicinal, energetic properties of the sage can support you. So you're going to let that sit for, 10 to 12 minutes or so. And after you've let this sit, you can strain the leaves out. It's if they're big leaves, it's not necessary to strain them out. But then you have your sage tea. It has a lovely aroma, and I've gotten a lot of great feedback of the flavor as well. So it can be an earthy, enjoyable tea. And you could either be maybe sitting, if you have a fireplace or an outdoor fire pit, You can use that, or you can just light a candle. And while you're sipping on the sage tea, remember I'm a big fan of intentions, okay? So while you're sipping on the sage tea, you're setting that intention to release and let go of anything that's not yours, that you've been holding in your space. And then I want you to release it into the fire. So whatever fire you're using, it could even be just the light of a candle. And then you're releasing that into the candle flame or the fire flame. And we're honoring the support of the fire, receiving the support of the fire. It's a great transformer, right? We've seen fire really transform things, okay? And so that's what the fire is doing for you. It's transforming that energy that you've been holding in your space. And I love this. This can be, it only takes 5 to 10 minutes, and you're honoring that time of silence, of quiet. It's a beautiful ritual. And this one I would recommend doing more in later afternoon, evening, nighttime, opposed maybe to morning time. Okay. And the reason for that is, later in the day after you've been, around people or doing things, you probably collected more foreign energies in your space. Okay. It's also a lovely thing to do with if you have a partner, family, friends that are also interested in this, or that they're also sensitive, intuitive, or empathic. It can be a lovely thing to do together because it allows for that deeper soul bond to happen. Because you're honoring silent time, quiet time together with this beautiful ritual of honoring the fire, allowing it to support you and clearing out your energy field. Okay. So we're moving on to clearing out that heaviness that could be present in your home, in your space, that emotional heaviness. So one thing that can get overlooked sometimes is those moments in life when maybe an incident happens and we have a lot of emotional processing to do. Say a loved one transitions and passes and we're grieving and we're processing our emotions, and unknowingly to us, maybe we're in our bedroom or an area of our home, we're releasing the heaviness of those emotions into our space. And you may notice that all of a sudden you try and walk into your bedroom and it just doesn't feel good to you. It's like it just feels heavy. And right, this happens to all of us. It's not a bad thing. We might be emotional processing wherever that place is for us. For some people, it might be the car. Okay. And you can feel that heaviness. And then all of a sudden, home, the car, it doesn't feel like you're safe, relaxing sanctuary anymore. It feels heavy. Sometimes people no longer want to go into that room anymore because of the heaviness they're picking up on and they're feeling. So one thing that I am a big fan of and I use a lot are Himalayan sea salt. And so in the image you have the candle. Okay, so here's an example of one of the candles or the lights. Sorry, not the candles. The Himalayan sea salt lamp, and I don't even have this plugged in or anything. I just use the salt lamp without the light. But what I notice is that energetically, if you can tune into it, whether you're feeling or clairvoyantly seeing, is that energetically I'll see these kind of spiraling energy cleansing and purifying all around. And so it will dissolve that heaviness that's been permeating that space that maybe you've been doing emotional processing in. Maybe you're living with someone that's been doing a lot of emotional processing and you're uncomfortable living in the heaviness of that. I welcome you to put the salt lamps around. Another thing that I use that's very inexpensive is the little Himalayan sea salt rocks. See these little guys here? And these, right, you can just get them at the health food store, okay? And these you can even have around. And again, when I tune in with them, they just have this beautiful kind of circular, purifying energy that happens. And for me, if I know I'm going to be going into doing some emotional processing, I'll actually keep these, a lot of them, in a bowl. You can't really, oh, here you can see my bowl. And this bowl is full of a bunch of those small salt rocks. And I'll actually place that maybe underneath my feet or my chair or just near me while I'm processing emotions, because then it's going to, while I'm doing that, just cleanse, purify, and clear my environment so I don't have to be living in that heaviness. And then all of a sudden, the safe place turns into a place that I don't even want to spend time in. Okay. And so if your emotional processing place is at work, in the car, at home, very easy, right, to just set up the different types of Himalayan salts. You get creative with it, whatever's calling to you. Here's a Himalayan sea salt candle holder. So I'll have, so you can get creative with it, whatever's calling to you. And maybe even have, people that you care about, that you notice that they're processing a lot of emotions. Maybe they've even mentioned that their home's not feeling comfortable anymore. That might be a beautiful gift for them, right? One of the Himalayan salt lamps, right? With holidays coming up, it might be a nice gift for someone who may be grieving. Okay. Okay. So we just went over how to kind of keep your environment that when you're processing emotions, to keep your environment feeling good, light, purified, cleansed, with utilizing the Himalayan sea salt. So now I just want to give some tips about processing emotional triggers. So when I'm talking about emotional triggers, I'm talking about just those incidences that happen in life. It could be a specific incident or maybe a certain person, and you're witnessing this emotional response happening. Okay. And you might even think about in your life, what is triggering you? Is there a specific person, incident, or maybe you're noticing this repetitive pattern playing out in your life? You might just take a moment to think about that, calling in a little bit. And you maybe even notice when we do that, our mental mind might be having words, stories, thoughts of blame or judgment coming up. For me personally, when I'm witnessing any blame or judgment coming up in my thought processes, that's an indicator to me, oh, there's something deeper going on here that I need to tend to and heal. Because our mental minds love to be that coping mechanism that can distract us from our pain because it thinks it's protecting us from our pain that we're holding within. So then we'll notice and witness all these blaming and judgy thoughts coming up around a situation or person, right? It's just that protection mechanism right, to protect us from our pain that we're holding inside. I think it's just good to have awareness of that. And if we choose to, we can acknowledge those thoughts of judgment, of blame, right? Distracting us from our pain, kind of focused on something outside of ourselves. We can have awareness of that. And then actually, if we're ready and we want to, we can create that intention to heal. Okay. And a lot of times for me, the statement that I'll say to myself when I'm witnessing judgment or blame go on within me with those mental thoughts, I'll bring my awareness to my heart and I'll state to myself, I choose to heal. And so in that moment, when I'm stating that intention, I choose to heal, I'm acknowledging that the thoughts of blame and judgment are not true. It's just that protection mechanism of my ego, my mental mind, supporting me in protecting myself from my own pain. But I'm making that choice to go within, to acknowledge that deep emotional pain, those emotional responses within, and tend to that part of myself. So that's just a little bit of the kind of the process that internally that I'm going through in those moments. So again, I just welcome you to think about that thing. What's triggering it? What's allowing for these emotional responses to happen in your life? It might be a person, a specific incident, and then you're noticing these emotional responses come up. And as those emotional responses come up, it is helpful to kind of tune in. It's like, well, where are they present in your physical body? Do you notice those emotions, those emotional responses in a certain area of your body? Might be that achy heart, or maybe even feel it in your digestion, your stomach area. Just kind of tuning in. Where is that emotional response coming from in your body? And I welcome you to just gently place your hand on that area of your body where you feel like that emotional response is coming from. Acknowledging that this is a part of your body. It's not the whole of your physical being. Because as we're processing emotions, it's really important to acknowledge that this emotional response is just a part of you. It's not the whole of you. This emotion doesn't own you. It's a part of you that's expressing. And I want you to pay attention if you have any resistance. There's these parts of you going, no, I don't want to feel this. Are your muscles tightening up against this emotional response? If so, I just welcome you to allow yourself to relax and soften, acknowledging that this emotional response is just a part of you. You might have to kind of tap your full body to acknowledge, like, oh, this is the whole of me. This is just a part of me, this emotional response. And you're letting it express. It's just a part of you that has been hurting and it's wanting to express. If you get overwhelmed in the emotional response, then you've lost your center. You've lost the acknowledgement that it's just a part of you, not the whole of you. And you may need to pause and just tap your full body. Or for those of you who like to imagine, visualize, you might even imagine just yourself drawing an oval circle all around you, acknowledging, oh, this is the whole of me. That's a part of me that's expressing. Attending to that part of you lovingly, gently, letting it express. Giving yourself permission to feel this emotional response. And as you do, you'll notice different layers to the emotions. They might get stronger, then dissipate. There's movement in the emotional responses. And you know you're healing when in the background you can feel this slight sense of relief. And the relief is because you're finally giving yourself this opportunity to heal. And just the reminder, if you're healing, trauma, it's very easy for those emotions to overwhelm you. So you just pause, bring yourself back to the awareness that it's just a part of you, and you're acknowledging the whole of you. That might mean that you're tapping your full body to really get that awareness of the whole of your being. And then again, tending to that part of you, right? It's just a part of you expressing, not the whole of who you are. You're more than your emotional pain. You're more than your trauma. There's this acknowledgement of the whole being that you are. And after you've had time to process those emotional responses, you may notice that it could feel hollow or raw inside. And that to me is actually a good signal. It's like, oh, you were really in there processing everything. And there's a kind of this space that needs to be filled up. And I welcome you to just fill that space up with healing energy. I love to use golden healing energy because it's protective. But whatever color represents healing to you, you could welcome that healing color, that healing energy into that space that you kind of cleared out, that you were processing. So you have that beautiful healing frequency now taking that place. Otherwise, you do have that risk of welcoming uninvited energy to go into that space, right? Because it is wanting to be filled up. Okay, so there was just some tips on, healing yourself, working with that emotional processing. And just the reminder again, right? So after you do this emotional processing, you could be releasing that heaviness of the emotions into your space, and you could use the Himalayan sea salt, right? It could be very easy. Maybe you just get a Himalayan sea salt lamp beside where you process your emotions, or the little just the Himalayan sea salts that you can get at the natural food store in your area. Okay. Well, I'm just honoring all of you for going through that with me. It's not easy. It takes a lot of courage to heal ourselves, to allow ourselves to let go of latching on to blame or judgmental thoughts towards others. Okay. So I really commend your courage to go within and tend to those parts of yourself that need healing. Okay. And just so you know, we're not going to be watching this together now, but if you haven't checked out my YouTube channel, it's under my name, Renee Rowe. There's a lot of great guided healing meditations there. And there is one specifically there, a guided healing meditation on healing triggers or emotional responses. If you were really wanting to dive into this and practice on your own at home, just know that that guided healing meditation is available to you, okay, where it's kind of nice. You're just allowing yourself to be guided and going through that healing process on your own. And then lastly, I just want to go over house clearing. So some people will use sage, but I use a little bit different technique. I do have a passion with kind of creating my own household cleaners with natural products, maybe with herbs that I grow in my garden, like thyme and lavender. And and this was actually a natural house cleaning product recipe that I got. And when I made it, I noticed that it was just such an incredible energy cleaner. And I saw it because I'm clairvoyant, right? I can see and see the energy. I noticed that when I used this, it felt like it was like going deep into the floor and the walls and kind of clearing out any of that old, stagnant, icky energy that had been there for a long time. So I love this. And how you would do this is you can get fresh lavender or dried, and also thyme, fresh or dried. It's so lovely. If you happen to have lavender or thyme in your garden, you can just go and get some from your garden, or of course, just at a natural health food store should have these items. And you're going to want to have, a big jar. Like think about like a pickle jar, or is it the quart size is about 3 or 4 cups mason jar, and you're going to put your lavender and your thyme, about 1/4 cup of each, and then you'll pour in the white vinegar, about 3 to 5 cups, and then just let that sit overnight. And then the next day, you'll strain out the lavender and thyme. And what you'll be left with is the white vinegar, and it will have this beautiful kind of pink color to it. So that's that solution that you can use for cleaning your home, like cleaning your home, and also using as an energy cleaner. Oh, someone had a recommendation for the Greek herbal tea, the sage tea. Oh, thank you. Uh, Cleo Greek herbal tea. Sorry, I just saw the message there in the chat. If you guys go to the chat, you'll see that message there with a great sage tea, right? For clearing your energy field. And so for the house clearing, you have your solution and you can put it in just like a little spritzer bottle. Usually you can get these empty bottles at your health food store. So here's just a couple different sizes that you can see here. And I like it to be kind of that gentle spritzer. Okay. And what you want to do, which is really important, I'm bringing us back to intentions. Intentions are so important. I hope you guys are kind of bringing that awareness in, or maybe you already have it, just how important our intentions are. Always good to check in with ourselves with what our intentions are when we're approaching something, taking an action step with something, or when we're setting our intentions. So before using this vinegar solution, right, the little spritzer, spraying it from a little spritzer bottle, You're going to go ahead and open up all the windows in your home. And then you're going to kind of check in with your intentions, right? Might be clearing out any energy, foreign energy that's not yours or a family member's that's been in your home, clearing that out. And what I love to do, which is a little bit different than a lot of clearing techniques, is I love to tune in with the feeling I want in my home. I love to have just this, for me in my home, I love to have a very welcoming and loving environment. So I hold that feeling in my heart, this welcoming and loving environment. So I want you to kind of just think about like what type of what type of feel do you want in your home? Is it peaceful, loving, welcoming, sterile, clean, fresh? If you're in your office, you're going to probably want something that has this like clear mental feeling, right? Mental focus feeling. Think about the different areas and how you're wanting them to feel. So when I'm clearing my home, I'll bring in that feeling of love and welcoming, that energy, and I let it kind of emanate from me as I'm spritzing all around my home. Right. And I ask anything that's not matching that welcoming and loving feeling to just gently leave my space. And then you'll just, after you've gone around and spritzered your home, you'll want to leave those windows open, definitely for, 10 to 15 minutes. If you're really wanting to do a thorough cleaning, I recommend up to 1 to 2 hours, right? Where you're just letting that stuff clear out of your home. If you had any spirit activity there, some really icky stuff in your home, I definitely recommend that as it's clearing, that you remove yourself from your home or remove yourself from just maybe the room that you were clearing and let that vinegar solution do its thing. Okay. And then after that time, you can go ahead and close your windows again and everything. Okay. But that's just how I love to do the clearing of my home, right? Just that added piece that's different than what a lot of people do is really tuning in with how you're wanting your home, your room, your space to feel. And you're letting that emanate from you. Or you're just connecting with the feeling of that while you're doing the clearing, right? And anything that doesn't match that feeling that you want in your space, you're just gently welcoming it to leave, right? Or it can stay if it wants to match that feeling. And again, I mentioned my YouTube channel. You can also find detailed instructions, video instructions, written instructions of the energetic and spirit cleanser for your home. So please know that you do have access to that if you can't remember right now. So you have access to revisit that, or also watching the replay of this. Okay. Well, those were all the tools I wanted to share with you today. I'm so honored and grateful to be here with all of you. Please know that I really appreciate your presence and taking time from your busy lives to be here with me, just learning these tools. I hope they're helpful, especially at this time of year. And I'll just stop sharing.